You are joining me, Myra Salinas. I am your 14th Circuit Governor for the ABA Law Student Division. And welcome to our live webinar series. Today I wanted to focus our meeting to cover some of the more important happenings in the ABA Law Student Division and leave some time for some Q&A afterwards. So first, I wanted to talk about some of the results from our advocacy survey that went out to all of the circuits. This survey asked students to rate what initiatives are most important to them. And we'll briefly discuss the top 4 initiatives that were rated as the highest priority by the law students. I'm planning a more in-depth panels later on this year to discuss each and every one of those. Also, if you didn't complete this survey, I will send it out after this webinar series to our listserv, and you can complete it then if you didn't get a chance to before. Okay, so we're going to start with talking about the uniform bar exam. And to discuss that, we have John Loros, who is our Secretary Treasurer of the ABA Law Student Division. Take it away, John.
All right, how are you guys? So I'll talk to you a little bit about the Uniform Bar Exam, the UBE. So it is now adopted in 16 states. New York just adopted it, which is a state where I'm from, which I'm very happy about. Basically what the Uniform Bar Exam is, it's a test that consists of 4 different parts. So there's the multi-state bar exam, multi-state essay exam, multi-state performance exam, and then also the multi-state professional responsibility exam, or the MPRE. So what the Uniform Bar Exam is just a component of 4 tests that are almost uniformly tested throughout the United States. 49 states use the multi-state bar exam. And then also many other states use the multi-state essay exam, multi-state performance exam, and the MPRE. So having right now, the way state bar exams are structured in most of the states is that if you pass in one state, you can't just move to another state. You would have to sit in 2 different states for their bars. What the Uniform Bar Exam would give you is a portable score. So you would take all 4 components of the exam, and then you would have your score, and then you could use that score in whatever state you so choose. And each state could set their admittance at a certain score. Say, I'm going to pick an arbitrary number, 170. Some states will set the score at 170, and some states will set it at, say, 165. And then so you could be admitted into any state where your score exceeds that minimum limit. And why we need the Uniform Bar Exam and why we need a portable score is for numerous reasons. Right now, there's such a crisis, student debt crisis, that's going on in the nation, where law students are crippled with debt. And then when you pair that up with the job market right now, which has been struggling and hasn't picked up yet compared to any of the other job markets out there, it's just crippling for law students. So what this would do it would give law students the ability to say you're in New York and there's more jobs available in Ohio. Instead of waiting around in New York jobless if I can't find a job, I could go somewhere else where I could use that score, where I could go work, and I could go paying off the debt from the student loans that I've taken out. Also what it does, a portable score does, is give more places access to legal resources and legal services. So there's, especially out in the Midwest, you could go for over 100 miles and not have access to legal services, aka a lawyer is not practicing within a reasonable distance from you. And this test would encourage the movement of lawyers around the country, so more people could have access to these legal services wherever they're needed, whether it's in cities or out in the country, wherever. Second, another plus about the Uniform Bar Exam is that the more states that adopt it, the more resources that could go into the test. Right now, every state develops their own test. And some states, especially the smaller states, think New Hampshire, Vermont, they do not, they actually do not, they have very small resources to set aside for their bar exams. If they were to adopt the uniform bar exam, they could use the pool of resources because it's a uniform bar exam. There's one exam, there's one resources, there's one, every state puts in resources for this test. So the quality level of the test will rise, and these smaller states could have access to a very quality test. Second, it encourages uniform grading. So there's the National Conference of Bar Examiners sponsors training for everyone who's going to mark up these tests. And that ensures uniformity across the grading scales. So you won't have different, whether one state would be harder than the other, or one would be graded more difficult. Another thing is that adoption of the uniform bar exam would encourage law schools just to focus on the basic analysis and legal writing. And they wouldn't really have to worry about these state-specific nuances because, say, in New York, you would have to learn everything about legal principles, could think about contracts and corporations, will, states, and a trust, and then you'd also have to learn about whatever state-specific nuances there are in New York. The uniform bar exam, you could just spend, for passing the bar, you would have to worry about your basic principle legal skills that make you a lawyer, not these little nuances. So that's what I came to law school for. That's what most people get out of law school. And to go on that topic of, well, what happens to, how do you test state-specific things? Uniform bar exam. So every state that adopts the uniform bar exam could also add a state test. So say, for instance, in Arkansas. They have an online course where they're able to provide all their lawyers materials that they have to study and then take an online course. And what this does is that all these resources are available on their state bar website, and they could use these resources whenever they want. They really could take their time spread out throughout the time of the course, which spans a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and they could really sit down and really kind of thoroughly examine the nuances in the law and have extending access to these resources, rather than just sitting down and having, say, a 50 question multiple choice, which the states also have an option to do. It's up to the state's discretion and gives the state a lot of flexibility in how they want to test their state-specific law. And that's pretty much it. The arguments against the uniform bar exam is that they think if a state would accept the uniform bar exam, then there would be a flood of lawyers from all these surrounding states that would want to practice in the area. However, the results since the states that have adopted the uniform bar exam, statistics have shown that has not been the case. And also, it's a little bit protectionist of an argument. So that's kind of the meat and bones, a basic summary of the uniform bar exam. I guess we'll go to questions now.
Yeah, I haven't received any questions, but I guess a question for you would be, or more like a comment, is that the UBE is basically kind of the best of both worlds, because it allows us law professionals to be able to move, because maybe we're married and our partner is getting a job offer in a different state, but we can't just pick up and move. We have to pass a bar and go through that exam process again. So this would make it a lot easier for us to move whenever we need to for life purposes. And at the same time, it still gives the states their own discretion, that they can add this extra component to their UBE exam in order to test for, state-specific law, right?
Right. So you don't lose out on training your lawyers and the legal profession in that. And sometimes it gives you more flexibility, and then adoption of a new bar exam allows you to reanalyze whatever situation you have in your bar exams and how you want to approach that. And also, you mentioned the ability to move around, and just the legal field in general, that everything's becoming more interconnected. Travel is so much more easier with the age of technology, you're able to provide services across the country that you never would before. So the uniform bar exam and that portability is just a reflection of the progress of the legal profession in that way.
Yeah, and we're kind of making it more aligned like with the medical profession, for example, where they have, you know, a standard for everyone. So I feel like that's more in line with that kind of professional field.
Exactly. And one of the big things about the uniform medical exam is that it provided high quality legal services across the board. You're getting the same, you know, you're getting quality resources no matter where you go. It's the same exam. And when the medical exam, when they were making a uniform medical exam, they were using the same exact arguments against it. Those against it, saying that there's very regional specific diseases, like you don't find Lyme diseases in certain places. But overall, it's provided quality and consistent level of medical help and basically professional services to the people that we serve.
Yeah. Well, thank you, John. I didn't get any questions from our audience, so unless there's anyone out there that wants to say anything. Anyone? No. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to go to our next segment.
All right. So long.
All right. So moving along with our webinar, the next topic we have is going to be the pay and credit ban on externships. So real quick, I'm just going to pull up a presentation that I have and show you the 4 areas that were rated as most important to law students. So I'm just going to use my full disclosure. This is my first time using this feature, so bear with me. Okay, here we go. Okay, so as you can see, this is my presentation. Okay, and these are the 4 areas that were rated the highest by our law students who responded to the survey. And that's the uniform bar examination, which is what John Loris just went through, and pay credit ban on externships. We'll go over that in a minute. Diversity, I think that's an important initiative pretty much across the board in the ABA, and apparently across the board with our law students, so that's good. And also the public service loan forgiveness, I'll cover that as well, and talk about what it is and why it's important and why students have rated it as important. Okay, so going in here, the pay credit ban is actually it deals with the question on internships. Right now, currently, the law students are faced with the decision of whether to get paid or whether to get credit on an externship, even though it may serve the same purposes. So that's a tough decision for law students, especially when we're paying for law school and already, you know, spending a lot of money to get through our law school careers and start our professional careers. So it's a tough decision on whether to get some sort of payment in order to make some income and supplement the income that we already have to spend on school and books and everything like that. And then at the same time also get credit for something that's teaching you professional skills. So it's a tough decision, and the law student division really advocated to get that pay credit ban taken off, so that would allow law students to get credit and pay for an externship, so that they wouldn't have to make that tough decision. And through our advocacy, we were able to get it up to the highest, one of the highest sections of the ABA, and you know, they were considering that proposal. However, it did not go through, but we have been pushing this along the way, and we're going to continue to push it. in order to advocate for law students' voices, because this is what law students want. They have been asking this for a long time, and it's really just, it's right for us to be able to get credit and pay for the same work that we would be doing. So that's the gist of it. I'm trying to see if we have any comments or questions from the audience. I don't see any. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and just bear with me just a minute. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into our next section, because pay and credit ban is pretty self-explanatory, and I don't think it would need a lot of in-depth discussion. So let's get into, we're going to save diversity for last, and we're going to go into public service loan forgiveness. We were going to hear from Jared Hess from the ABA. However, he's in the grassroots campaign for saving public service loan forgiveness. Unfortunately, he was not able to join us due to technical difficulties. So I'm just going to go ahead and present this myself, and I'm going to start with my presentation again. So bear with me. Okay, so public service loan forgiveness, what is it? Basically, public service loan forgiveness allows for professionals who have worked in a qualifying public service position for a certain period of time and made timely payments on their student loans to be able to get a loan forgiveness at the end of that period for whatever remains of their student loans. And this often means people working in government positions like the DA's office, the public defender's office, a lot of the nonprofit self-help centers or legal aid centers. They will usually qualify for this, and the period is 10 years of timely made payments on your student loans, and then after that period you would get the rest of your loan forgiven. So we have started a campaign because recently the current proposed budget from our government is to chop this program so that no one can get a loan forgiveness anymore. And obviously, for very obvious reasons, I think it's important to save it, because it's really supplementing the income that professionals give up in order to help the public by giving them this loan forgiveness. So, you spend 10 years working in a public service oriented position in order to help the public, and in doing so you take usually a lower paying position, or maybe forego making larger amounts of money by going into private practice in order to help the public. So I think that this loan forgiveness really kind of supplements, or it's justified in the fact that we're promoting public service by getting rid of loans that these professionals still have, even though they're not making as much as their private practice counterparts. So part of the campaign is to lobby, obviously. The grassroots campaign, that's it's #LoanFor, the number 4, and Giveness. This is the web page for that campaign, and they will select several people who post videos with that hashtag. They're going to be selected to take a trip to Washington, D.C. and lobby for a day. So if you are interested and passionate about this topic, I urge you to post a video explaining why this loan forgiveness program is important to you, why it matters to you and to your community, and post it on a social media site like you can do Facebook, Twitter, even YouTube, and hashtag someone in your jurisdiction that's involved with decision making in the government. That can be your senators, your even your governors, really anyone that's involved with the government, and then you can also tag the ABA Law Student Division so that we can see the video. And you may be selected to be one of these few individuals to lobby for a day in Washington, D.C. So that's that one aspect. There's 3 ways you can help. This is the one way, the recording of video. And so you record a video. You can also snap a selfie. That's an option. And you hashtag loan, the number 4, and giveness, and post it on social media site, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and tag your senators or someone in the government that can bring this up to the senator. And then that's basically it. It's pretty easy. It's a 3-step process, and it's fairly simple and easy, and anyone can do it and really help us advocate for being able to keep this program alive and really help the Law Student Division in promoting the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. So here are some of the ways that you can help within your school to promote this campaign. Number 1 would be to raise awareness. That's the most important. It's the way that we can get students to get involved. If they're not aware of it, then how can they possibly get involved? So raising awareness, you can do that with an email to your listserv if you have that capability. Just word of mouth, introducing it to your student organizations. Maybe they can put together a panel and talk about public service loan forgiveness and the ways to contribute to the campaign. And really just anything that brings awareness to your law students within your school about this program. Using the hashtag, you can use the hashtag anytime you post anything. If you repost an article talking about public service or the loan forgiveness program, public service just in general, or the loan forgiveness program, then use that hashtag. We'll see it, and it'll really help our campaign. And the 3rd way is to connect with your pro bono partners and your legal aid partners within your community and talk to them, see what they're doing in order to promote this program and to save this program. Tell them about our campaign. They can contribute as well. It doesn't have to be law students. It can be really anyone, any professional that's involved in public service or not, if they really support the program. So those are the ways that anyone can help this campaign, and it'll really bring it, bring the noise, kind of, so to speak, and let everyone know about this great program possibly getting cut, and basically letting the government know that it's important for everyone, and not just for law students and not just for public service professionals, because it doesn't affect just the legal field, the legal professionals. It affects several people in public service positions that are not law related. And some of those professionals include people who work for nonprofit organizations that are tax exempt, 501c3 organizations, other types of nonprofits that qualify for public services, such as AmeriCorps and the Peace Corps. So it's not just for the legal profession. it actually involves a lot more than that. So we really need to promote this program. All right, and I don't see any questions from our audience. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next segment, and that's diversity. So diversity all around was rated an important initiative by the law students in the circuits. So many of you may know or may not know that we have a diversity day, which is next semester, next year in March. I believe it's March 2nd. And that day, it's really meant to promote diversity in the legal profession, in law school, and pretty much across the board. We have a toolkit on our website that helps law schools that really want to promote, or law schools or law students that really want to promote diversity, and it helps with programs to do so. And for our circuit, for the 14th Circuit, I am working with our newly appointed lieutenant governors in order to set up a week's worth of an agenda for diversity. So it's going to be a diversity week as opposed to a diversity day, and we're still planning that, so I can't say what's going to be on that agenda, but it's really going to be dedicated to the different student organizations that promote diversity, and to the several of the student groups who do so. So we're going to be focusing on other organizations and their focus on diversity for their organization. And that is, I think diversity speaks for itself. It's important for everyone, and I don't think we need to go too in-depth into that. And some of the other initiatives within our circuit that we are trying to really push also include the Mental Health Week in March. That's March 27th, I believe. There's a toolkit for that as well with in our website, ABA Law Student Division website. And mental health is important in law school because of the stresses that law school brings to everyone. So it's a really important initiative to push and to promote mental health. And the same as diversity, I'm going to be putting an agenda with my lieutenant governors for the 14th Circuit, and we're going to create a mental health week. It's going to be a week-long campaign or program for mental health, and we're going to include different components of it, including education about mental health, but also some interactive activities that the schools can participate in, and we'll make that also an important initiative within our circuit. And the last one is the VITA program. That's the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. That's also on the ABA Law Student Division's website, and there's also a toolkit for that. This program is, as the name suggests, it's a tax assistance program. So anyone interested in providing tax assistance on basic tax forms, they will get training and be able to help individuals who need assistance with their taxes in the coming tax year. That also, I am getting together with my lieutenant governors to put together kind of a guide to implementing that kind of a program within your schools. And we'll be sending that out probably within the year in order to get ready before the tax year next year, or the tax season next year. Okay, so we do have one more guest. She'll be coming in at around 2 o'clock at the 2 o'clock time. And she'll be discussing the Student Lawyer magazine. But as of right now, I would like to go over the grant program, because we are discussing a lot of the initiatives that we have within our circuit, and not just within our circuit, but within the ABA Law Student Division. And in order to bring these kind of to life with law students, we can put together events, different programs, and webinars and the like. But we can try and get some, in order to put some of these events together, we need some funding. So the grant program, which is it's grants provided by the ABA Law Student Division for different programming that would potentially help with furthering these initiatives. So I'm just going to start again my presentation, and bear with me. Just 1 second. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's the my presentation on the grant program. How to access the application for the grant program is going to, I'm going to explain that process right now. It's from the SBA President's landing page. This is what it looks like. From that page, you will go all the way down, scroll all the way down, and you will see it right there, funding sources. And that gives you a little snippet of the grant program and what it is. And if you click Tell Me More, you will get access to the grant program page. And that's what the page looks like. And from this page, you can read what kind of events or programming is eligible for the grant. That's this section here, eligibility. And that basically gives you this criteria. The event should emphasize public interest service, or public interest or service, and have a professionalism aspect to it. You can promote diversity or ethics or mental health programming, but it has to have at least one of those components. So public service, professionalism, diversity, ethics, or mental health. One of those, it needs to promote one of those things, and then it'll be good. And then another criteria included is that it has to be a first-time event. So it can't be something that your school has been doing every semester or every year. It needs to be something new to your school, or something that maybe you may be bringing back after several years, making it a little different, kind of revamping it and reintroducing it to your law students. Also, it has to obviously be an event or program put together by an ABA approved law school. That's any ABA accredited law school. Then you can, if you're in one of those law schools, then obviously you qualify. An exclusion to these grants would be anything that's professional skills, anything that's a professional skills competition and is sponsored by an ABA approved law school. If it's a professional skills competition, then it does not qualify. So that's it. That's all the criteria. Be an ABA approved law school, be a first time event or completely new, and promote public interest, professionalism, diversity, ethics, or mental health. If you have a mental health program, it can't be anything that's just doing yoga for the day. It needs to include some sort of educational component. And actually the same goes for all of these areas. It needs to include some sort of educational component. And professionalism, it could be a mixer, including professionals in the area and maybe including a public service component to it, but it has to be specific for law students, and it has to include a professionalism training component. All right, so I don't see any questions about the grant program. So I think for our current webinar, I don't have any more to add, but I did want to provide just a few updates from the ABA Law Student Division, and one of them is many don't like our current website because it's hard to navigate, not very user-friendly, and it's really kind of difficult to find things, but we have been working on a new website for the Law Student Division, and it's in its final stages now. So it's going to have a lot of great material. It's going to be very user-friendly, and it's going to be a big change from our current website. So it's going to be great, and we're really hoping that all students like it. We think they will, because it's going to be a lot easier to navigate than our current website. Also, we are having our mid-year meeting in San Diego next year. It's going to be February 3rd through the 9th. Actually, I'll have to get my dates right on that. That's mid-year for the ABA. I believe the Law Student Division is only meeting the 5th through the 7th, I believe, and that's next year. So, but the ABA's mid-year meeting is the 3rd through the 9th, and it's similar to the yearly ABA meeting, the annual that we all went to in August, and similar structure, just a little bit different, less student programming, but a lot more opportunity to mix and mingle with practicing attorneys from across the nation. So it's a great opportunity for law students to come in and learn about the ABA and mix and mingle with attorneys from different practice areas and different parts of the country. Maybe you're interested in practicing in a different state from where you're currently at and want to know more about the legal profession in that area. Maybe you want to know what the community is like, what the legal community is like. Maybe you want to know what the job market is like. And those are the kind of questions that you can ask from someone that you meet at the ABA mid-year meeting. And we'll be hosting some programming for students to attend, but mostly it will be opportunities to mix and mingle with lawyers or legal professionals. Also, that's our mid-year meeting. Also, I wanted to, now that we've discussed the different topics from our survey, I kind of wanted to go over the results a little bit. So the survey was sent out to nearly 20,000 law students. And from the results, we received the UBE, the Uniform Bar Exam, received a support of 46%, which means that 46% law students found that to be an extremely important topic and something that was very important to them. So 27% rated it most important, and that's pretty high. That's the second highest most important rating. The most important rating was received by the public service loan forgiveness, perhaps because it's currently on the chopping block and people are really concerned about it, or maybe because it's an important program overall. The support garnered by that program was 46%, so 46% of law students found that to be an extremely important topic, and 41% rated as the most important advocacy initiative or advocacy item. And then we go into diversity. Like I said, that's kind of across the board. Everyone finds diversity to be an important topic, both within law schools and in the legal profession. In firms, in different companies, diversity is an important initiative for everyone. So, or for most people. So that received 45% support as an important initiative, and 24% rated as the most important. Now these numbers may have changed since I obtained them, but because the survey is still live, but I think the trend is still the same. These would get more support rather than less. So and the last one is the pay credit ban on externships received 62% support and 20% rated as the most important item. So that's why I chose these four to present today, because they are very important to the law students in our country. This is a nationwide survey that was sent out. So it's important across the board to a lot of this nation's law students. So this roundtable is really meant to give you a brief summary of these important topics and then provide you the ability to give feedback, to ask questions, and they can be questions about these four things, or they can be questions about our circuit, the 14th Circuit, which is Northern California and Nevada, or just questions about the ABA Law Student Division in general, or ABA in general. So if you have any of these questions, the Q&A is enabled, so you can ask your questions and I will receive them live from my computer. So just don't be afraid to send me your questions. I will get to them as I get them. And our next guest should be coming in soon. And some of the questions that we wanted to ask and hear from you all law students is what are some of the challenges, some of the difficulties or complexities that you have at your school that maybe if they were different would make your experience in law school a little bit easier, a little bit easier to handle, maybe make things more simple for you, and help you be a better student, or maybe help you in your future legal profession. So those are the kind of questions or feedback that I wanted to get from our circuit. So at the end of this webinar series, if you have any questions that you wanted to bring up to in our video, then please do so. Okay, so right now I'm just going to go through some of the other items that we had here. Bear with me just a moment. And we'll be having a more in-depth webinar on each of these topics, as I mentioned, and also other topics to come that are important. And that's, things that will help your life in law school. I'm planning these webinars so as we speak, so they will be coming later this year, hopefully, or at the beginning of next year, depending on how quickly we can get these together. But we'll be discussing things like time management, what helps with stress relief and mental health, getting enough sleep, that's always important, and how to deal with stress in law school without completely shutting down. So those things are all important just in general for law school. And if you're a first-year law student, I would highly encourage you to join us for those discussions that will be coming later on. Only because it's hard to grasp the importance of these things when you're kind of going through it. So kind of getting ahead of that and learning about them and learning to deal with these things before they happen will help you be able to manage your time, manage your stress, manage your mental health, keep sane during first year, and actually just through law school period. So we'll be discussing these topics, like I mentioned, later on. Hopefully, I'm really hoping for later this year, perhaps in December. If not, it will be at the beginning of next year. And we'll go over some of the other topics that we have. We're at 10 minutes before 2. So right now, I'd like to see if there's anyone out there with any questions. Anyone? No? Maybe? I don't see anyone out here wanting or dying to ask me a question, so I'll just keep going. And one important aspect of our public service loan forgiveness campaign is that we kind of need a lot of support real fast. So I'm going to reintroduce this now and just post this picture up so that you can take down the information and help us as much as you can in promoting it. So, oops, sorry, I'm trying to, okay, here we go. So you can write down the information, and when you get a chance, help us with the campaign. 1 second. Okay. So again, this is the step-by-step kind of process for helping us with the campaign. And there's 2 options. You can record a video or snap a selfie. Many of us have done it. And hashtag save. Nope. My video is messed up. Okay. Hashtag loan forgiveness, and post it on any social media site. That could be YouTube, Facebook, obviously, Twitter, or Instagram, and that will help us promote and this campaign and promote public service loan forgiveness. Also, if you want to know more about public service loan forgiveness, the ABA has a page dedicated to public service loan forgiveness, and I am going to go to it now so that you can see some of the information that we have there. Bear with me just a minute. Okay, and let me switch feeds. Okay, so this is the page on public service loan forgiveness and the campaign. This is the campaign page, and you can see some of the videos that we've created, and again the instructions for how to help us save public service loan forgiveness, and again more instructions. And this is where you go to learn about public service loan forgiveness and the current status of it. So this is the campaign page. It's americanbar.org/advocacy/governmental_work/loan forgiveness.html. That's a really long way on how to get there, but if you go to the home page of the American Bar Association, you go to Advocacy and Governmental Legislative Work. First item here is loan forgiveness. So it's a very important topic. It's at the top of the list here. And you can go through this page and find out more information about public service and the current status of it and how to help. So again, if you're able to do any of those two things, post a video or post a selfie, please do so. And do not forget to hashtag the grassroots campaign to save loan forgiveness. And that's, again, there you go, 3 easy steps. Post a video, post a selfie, hashtag loan forgiveness. So those are the ways you can help. And, oops, sorry about that. I'm trying to go back. Okay, so hopefully everyone's getting that feed, because I am not sure that you are. Let me make sure again. Okay, so this is the page. I don't think I was showing it to everyone. I'm sorry about that. Yes, this is the page, and again, the video and the 3 ways to help, well, the 3-step way to help. It's a video, a selfie, mention a senator, hashtag loan forgiveness. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I don't think I was showing that to anyone previously, and like I said, this is my first time using this feature, so sorry. But here you go now. This is, again, the page. If you go from the home page, we'll go to Advocacy, Governmental, and Legislative Work. First item on the list, save loan forgiveness. And here's the campaign page. Okay, and okay. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so we're going to have our next guest coming in the next couple minutes, and she will be joining us to talk about another way to help promote some of these initiatives that we have. And that's through a different method, not through events or programming, but actually through getting published, perhaps, or writing about what's important to law students. So we'll be waiting for her to join us, and it'll be in just a few minutes. And after her presentation, Amy Fem's presentation, then we'll go ahead and start our roundtable where you can give me feedback about the circuit, about your school, what's going on in your school, what's important to you as a law student, what you see could be improved within the circuit, what events you might like to see, what other kind of programming that would help you in law school or that you'd be interested in participating in. Really anything that will help me help you, basically, and kind of bring all of these things to you in order to use during law school or in your professional career. So, just reach out to me. You can always email me. That's 14circuitgovernor@gmail.com. That's 14th written 14th, circuitgovernor@gmail.com. And just send me your questions, your concerns, or any suggestions that you may have, and they come directly to me and I will respond to them. So let's see if you have any other questions about our webinar right now, please let me know. And I believe our speaker may be here now. Just give me a few minutes or a couple seconds to figure out. Okay. Okay, just bear with me a minute here. Again, I apologize. This is my first time using this format. I am not familiar with all its features, so I'm really trying to make this as smooth as possible. And hopefully I can. Sorry. We'll have a 2-minute break. How about that? Okay, we're back. I'm still waiting on our speaker, but I wanted to show the grant program information again because I realized that I probably didn't come up on everyone's screen like I thought it was going to. Oh, hi. We have our speaker now, so we'll hold off on that. This is Amy here. She is our student editor. We're already recording, Amy. You're on the spot.
Hello, World Wide Web.
Okay, so this is Amy. Sorry, I always butcher your last name.
Fan.
Yeah. So, and Amy's here to talk about the Student Lawyer magazine as our student editor. So take it away, Amy.
Hey guys, as Myra said, I'm Amy Fan Taylor, and I serve as this year's student editor for the Student Lawyer magazine. And we are coming up on our last issue, believe it or not. It's slated to run March, April, May. It's our 4th issue, and it's going to be centered on technology for students. Right now, this week, I'm gathering story ideas. So if you have any ideas regarding technology or students' use of technology that you want to share, please get in touch with me or Myra. And the copy, we're hoping to have it due by December 1st. So we have a good month to work out the copy. What else? So we have a couple of stories in the works just to give you guys an idea of what we're looking for. Right now we have a board member working on a story about hackathons, which I guess are kind of these startup legal / tech workshops that the legal industry is trying to work to equalize legal issues. I'm pretty sure I'm totally butchering the concept, but you'll soon get to learn all about it when the writer writes about it. So yeah, just if you have any story ideas, please send them along. Like I said, I'm hoping to gather that all up by this week. So shoot me, myself, or Myra an email by Monday, and hopefully we can get more student writers involved.
So I know we had an issue just drop, correct? Or was I thinking of a different issue? Can you just kind of go over what is currently in the works for the magazine?
Me?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't have
all of that?
Huh?
Okay, sorry, I just went through like a 5-minute spiel about that.
But I'm talking more specific items that we can look forward to in the particular issues.
Okay, so sorry, for the upcoming issue or just student lawyer in general?
Have we only had one issue drop or two?
No, actually there's 2 that's been published, and we're working on our 3rd. Like it's gone, the publisher is getting ready to print our 3rd, and now we're working on our 4th.
Okay, so is there anything that may be of interest to law students that maybe have the first few issues that maybe they didn't open and should check out? That you can think of at the top of your head.
Yeah, so in every issue, we feature whatever opportunities are available through the ABA, whether that's competitions, like with our national moot court competitions, or ADR stuff, or just writing contests. We feature a lot of law students around the country who've won writing contests, and so that's a good place for students to read up on if they want to kind of work more on their writing skills and also earning more scholarship money, because a lot of these ABA groups have scholarships attached to these writing contests.
Okay, great. So it's kind of you know, it's an incentive for students to crack these magazines open. I know everyone gets them, but not sure how many people read them. So there's some really good stuff in there, guys.
I would absolutely say there's great stuff in there, and I would say that it's presented in a way that's fairly easy to digest. Sometimes, you know, working through the ABA website can be a little bit trying. So having it in this magazine form where you can just flip through and know, like, okay, when the important dates are to register for this competition or another competition, that's super helpful just to have all that information laid out right in front of you.
Yeah, and I just got done talking about how difficult it is using our current website and to find things. So the magazine is really great for finding these bits of information about these competitions, and also to maybe contribute to some of the stories that students are interested in, right? So.
Plus, yeah, I mean, I think the magazine also has a great platform for law students to speak out on issues that are important to us, that I think is really unique in that sense. I don't think that there's a lot of other platforms where we have that kind of a voice. For instance, things dealing with like the uniform bar exam and public service loan forgiveness program, and just having that platform to connect with other students and reading what other students are writing and feeling and doing. I think that serves as a great way to show you how you can enhance your law school experience by learning what other people from across the country are doing.
Awesome. So we get contributions from students all over the nation. Is that, yeah? Okay, yeah. So I really just wanted to have this spot to kind of highlight the magazine and all the great stuff that the magazine has in it, and also to encourage law students to contribute if they have a piece that they're really interested in. If there's a certain topic that they really want to talk about and write about, then this is kind of a really great platform for them to do so.
Mm-hmm. I also want to say, you know, come November 17th, when the new website rolls out for the Law Student Division, the magazine is going to have a really strong web presence. So that's going to be a really great complement counterpart to go with the magazine.
Awesome. So maybe students will be able to get on either the magazine in print or on the website as a part of a blog, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's multiple ways to contribute, and so whatever you want to do, however much time you want to give to the ABA to stay involved, there's definitely different resources for you to explore.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Amy. If there's anything else you want to tell us about, maybe how to contact the magazine if anyone's interested.
Sure. Yeah. So my email address is Phana, PHANA @seattleu.edu. And I'm sure when Myra sends a wrap-up email or whatnot, she'll include that. But please feel free to get in touch with me, even if you don't have an idea, but you just want to help out in the magazine. We are really looking for students who are excited and who are passionate about making this magazine really great. And like we said earlier, it's published nationally, so it definitely gets a lot of reads beyond like a school journal. So
yeah. Awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and show everyone the magazine's page on the current ABA website so they can kind of check out some of the articles that have been on there. There's past information on there, and there's contact information also for you, Amy. I think it's included on there, so it'll be kind of an easy way to tell everyone and capture your information. Okay, so thank you, Amy, and I'll go ahead.
Please get in touch with me. It was thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks, Amy. Have a good.
Bye.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and show you now the website because I think it provides some of the information that we just went over in context, and you can kind of see some of the articles that have been published previously, and that may help you kind of figure out if there's something that you want to talk about and write about and get out there to the students. So we'll go ahead and get to it now. Just bear with me. Okay, so this is the Student Lawyer Magazine page, and there's the big sign, Student Lawyer, and it's on the ABA's webpage. And here's some of the previous issues here. You can go through the directory, and these are some of the articles that have been featured in the magazine. So, you know, it can be from really just helpful articles for law students, or kind of gearing you up for the professional career, or for your professional career. And like Amy talked about, it also covers some of the competitions and writing competitions, both skills and writing competitions that the ABA has for law students. And you can kind of go through this, find some articles that are interesting to you, check them out, see what the writing style is like, and perhaps contribute to our magazine. All right, so that's basically it. Let's see. Okay, and I'm back. Okay, so if anyone has any questions out there, go ahead and just send them out to me, and I will get them. Our Q&A is live and open, so feel free to ask any questions that you may have. And I'm going to wait just like a couple minutes. If I don't receive any questions, then I will close our session for the day. And if you have any questions later on that maybe you didn't think of today or right now, then you can send me an email, and I'm going to post up my email so that you can reach me whenever you need. Just one second. This way you can just write it down instead of me just saying it. Okay, so that's my email. Feel free to reach out with any questions, suggestions, comments, anything that you may have, any feedback that you may have about the 14th Circuit, the ABA, or the ABA Law Student Division in general, and any suggestions for events, perhaps, or anything that you'd like to see happen either in our circuit or in your area. We can have a discussion about that. So 14th Circuit Governor at gmail.com. That's 14th written out, 14th, and Circuit Governor at gmail.com. All right, and I realize that I may have not displayed the grant program information that I had before. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and just post it up so that you can kind of see what I was talking about and what steps I was talking about to take, because I want to make sure that everyone knows where to go to access the application and be able to apply for a grant for one of their events or programming that they're having. So here it is. This is my presentation, and like I said, from the SBA President's landing page, then you go down to the bottom of that page, and you will see that this piece right here, funding resources, and that introduces the grant program. And if you click Tell Me More, then it will take you to the grant program page, which is this page. And from this page, you'll see the eligibility information here, and the contact information for the people overseeing the grant program. That includes Joan Loros, who we heard from earlier today. He was discussing the UBE, not the grant program, but he is the chair of the grant program committee. So he gets all of these applications first. And also the director of the ABA Law Student Division, Austin Gruthius. I think that's how you say his last name. Sorry if I butchered it, Austin. And so you can get the application form here and fill it out completely. And as I mentioned, in order for a programming or event to meet the requirements, it needs to have some sort of component that involves public interest or service, a professionalism component, a diversity component, ethics, or mental health programming, and also be a first-time event, completely new to the school, something that you want to introduce to the school and perhaps keep alive for the next coming years, something that you want to establish as an event in your school for the years to come, and that will be the most ideal kind of event. Also, it has to be from a school or in a school that is ABA accredited, ABA approved law school. So those are the 3 criteria, and excluded from that is any professional skills competition that is sponsored by an ABA approved school. So if it's a professional skills competition, it will likely not be eligible for the grant program, but any other event that includes professionalism as a component, that could meet it. So just make sure you fill out the information correctly, and once you submit your application for a grant program or for the grant program, then the committee will review it and return it to you with suggestions if you perhaps didn't meet the requirements, with feedback on how perhaps the event or the program can be changed in order to meet the requirements. That may be part of the feedback, and so that's how you take advantage of that. And again, I don't see any questions from the audience, so I'm going to go ahead and close out this section, and if you have any questions later on, email me. All right, have a good day, everyone. Enjoy your next classes.